And if you guys missed that, Mr. PB was ranting at me literally a minute ago. Welcome, we're live.
Yeah, because that was all the time that you gave me to get into the frickin' StreamYard. He sent me the link 2 minutes ago. Was like, jump in. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess I will now that I finally have the link for the show that's supposed to start in 20 seconds.
Well, that's life in the fast lane and or life of a parent. Yeah, kids.
Oh,
It's funny. Before we actually get into this, I'll give the viewers a little treat. Which, by the way, I hit 402. Thank you, everybody. Uh,
dang.
I don't know. Yeah, I know. I mean, I might do something for 400 just because it took me so fucking long to get out of 398. It was like purgatory. And then I go hit 400. Now I'm at 402, and I'm like, oh, it's all an uptick from here until I get to 498. Uh,
Well, I was gonna say until November shows up and you're like, okay, we're not doing Halloween movies no more.
yes. Um,
But you
but
could start early. Once you get to November, you could just jump right on a Christmas movie bandwagon. You can start with the greatest Christmas movie of all time, which is, say it with me, Iron
a
Man
Christmas.
3.
Oh, I was gonna say a Christmas story, but yeah,
Nah,
Iron
man.
Man.
Compared to Iron Man 3, you didn't put the link in the group chat?
I thought I did, and then I realized that I set it to your chat.
Okay, I'll do it.
No, no, I already sent it.
Oh,
I was like, oh yeah, I was supposed to shit. But yeah, but anyways, funny and true story. So I'm sitting there, and I don't know what made me think about this. Maybe I'm just a fucked up individual. But anyways, I started thinking about it and watching Underworld, and I don't know where, but you know how you have those moments as a parent where everything just makes sense. I think that children now, if they had to ask me what having kids are like, I love them, they're wonderful, but they
hmm.
also remind me of that movie Underwater. If you guys haven't seen it, watch my review and then immediately watch the movie because it's really underrated. But anyways,
It's a
uh,
non-spoiler review.
yeah, yeah. Um, but anyways, kids remind me of Cthulhu. Like,
Jesus.
it was like, yeah. So, yeah, there we go. Parenting reminds me of being trapped underwater with a god, possibly. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah. Uh,
Nobody knows where you're ever going with most of the points that you're trying to make, but
oh
somehow
yeah,
you
yeah.
seem to connect them.
Oh yeah, that's where I was all going. So, being late, how I say it reminds me of being in a never-ending loop is that why I was late was I told my kid to go and throw their pajamas on. Okay. So I have a daughter. All y'all that know out there, it's not the same thing as like having a son, a little girl. There's a point, she's at that point where I can't really go in there and make sure she's getting dressed with the right stuff. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah?
but so I sent her in there. I tell her go, get changed and into your pajamas and all that good shit. Brush your teeth. So she comes out with the same fucking shirt. Says she wants to wear that, and I'm like, uh, my goodness,
My
what,
goodness.
what, what? Like, okay, so here's the deal too. I'm tired after working, and I fall asleep, and I'm like, go ahead, go in, go change into different clothes, whatever. and she goes it really is like an apocalypse because I feel like every time I say to do something, I'm one step closer to fucking madness. She goes in, changes, puts on pajama pants, but keeps on the same shirt. And I don't know why it is kids feel like if you change the pants, then you have changed your outfit. It's not like they don't put together that you have to change the whole outfit.
No,
They're
no.
just
Well,
like,
if you said change the outfit, then technically she did change the outfit.
no,
You
I
didn't
said put on
tell
your.
her to. You gotta spell it out for these kids nowadays, apparently, and like give them all the instructions. You gotta go upstairs or wherever and be like, you need to change all of your clothes.
I mean,
What's up,
apparently,
Husky?
what's up, Husky?
Hello.
And Lemon Pie, it is not Prussia that has joined us. It is Cybernetic Husky. I have no
Nope.
fucking clue.
Nope, it's Prussia.
Jesus Christ. It's good to see you. I guess, being a dictator, I get all
No,
sorts
it's not. It's not. I'm not a dictator, man. It was just Kaisers.
No, but I'm a dictator, so I get all the weird and random countries joining my stream. Make no mistake, Prussia joining anything is fucking out of the ordinary.
Son of a bitch. I'm reading through your description for the stream tonight to get all of the hashtags in my tweet, and I just got to the middle of it. Are you fucking serious?
Oh yeah. We got you're gonna like tonight because it was very interesting, and I actually have to do the articles in reverse because one precedes the other. But if you're where I think you are, I have to,
I'm
you
in the
understand.
middle.
Yeah, so I mean I don't want to give too much away because I like to keep the good shit in the
Anybody
middle.
here can read the frickin' description.
Yeah, but sometimes they don't. It makes for a good surprise. Yeah, you're talking about the Arrow reboot.
Oh yeah, man.
Right? Oh, I'll get to that. I got to do the
Son
Dexter
of a
one
bitch.
first because
Son of a bitch.
one kind of feeds into the other. But first off, I do want to talk about something interesting. Something very intriguing that happened. And before I start this, I want to preference it. This is not the first time this individual has pissed people off with their comments or jokes. This is, however, the first time I have ever seen Saturday Night Live actually let a skit go on that wasn't totally and completely fucking liberal in nature. Because if you guys watch SLG, I don't give a fuck what anyone tells me. The only people who truly like those jokes are either A, people with no sense of humor, and I'm talking about the new comedians, or people who lean so far left that I'm pretty sure they walk sideways when they walk, because SNL has gotten to a point where it is just unimaginably, unbearably fucking not funny. And I don't even mean you could be political.
They only have one funny guy because he's been there for years and he's always been funny.
Yeah, when you find him, let me know.
It's called he's Kenan Thompson. He's Kenan Thompson.
Kenan Thompson.
He's the guy that's
funny.
he's the guy that's been there the longest.
He was funny until he decided to join SNL. I'm telling you, that's where they go to die. I'm person there that is funny. As a matter of fact,
he's been there before the current cast.
Hold on. You know who made the shitty Ghostbusters reboot? The
Kenan
SNL
Thompson?
cast / Melissa McCarthy. The rest of them were SNL
What
rejects.
does that have to do with Kenan Thompson?
What I'm saying is his career went there to die. Come on, let's be real. He hasn't been funny since Good Burger and all that.
Hey, man. I will not hear anything negative said about that movie.
I'm not saying anything negative about that. I'm saying his career
Zod,
has gone there to die.
Zod.
SNL has not
Zod.
been funny in about 20 years, maybe 30.
He joined it in 2003. Still, the early
20
2000s
years,
were
maybe
pretty
30.
funny.
the 2003 doesn't change that SNL hasn't been funny for 20 years. At least.
I don't know about
The
that, man.
funniest
There's
time.
definitely you might be correct for an overall show, but there's most definitely a skit here and there on a show once or twice a month that is spectacular. Like, I don't
As of
care if you don't like Alec Baldwin. His Donald Trump was hilarious.
what I mean is the comics in general, and hell, even the guests. Some of the guests were just dreadful.
Oh, now
I
you're
would put that.
smack talking The Rock. You know that, right?
No, hold on.
Yep. He
I know
hosted
The
how many
Rock.
times?
I
How many
know The
times he
Rock has
hosted
it.
in the last
Hold
20
on,
years?
let me make my point. I know The Rock has been on there along with various other ones, but 90% of the times the guests are also horrendous as well. But The Rock has been upstaged by what's up, Timon? But The Rock, who's one of my favorite cameos on there, actually, now that we were talking about that, has recently been upstaged by Bill Burr, because Bill Burr has given one of the most amazing monologues I have heard in quite a long time. And why I went through this whole thing of talking about how crappy it's been, objectively, I guess you could find a funny comic here and there, but they're few and very far in between. And the recent comics have been fucking atrocious.
You didn't see the one where Eddie Murphy came back, man? That one,
yeah,
that was a
I was not.
great SNL one when
I
Eddie
was.
Murphy came back.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was unimpressed. But anyways,
Jesus.
yeah. I mean, just because they have Eddie Murphy, that to me still doesn't raise the bar. I mean, some of the stuff was okay, but I just the show in general just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Just because I remember how great it was to what it is now, which is
Yeah, he
just
remembers the great days of Eddie Murphy.
yeah. I got mixed feelings on Eddie Murphy, and his comedy is very up and down. Actually, he's been better as a serious actor, surprisingly, than his comic stuff. Feels, a little off kilter. He's been, to me, doing a lot better in those serious roles. Like that recent Netflix movie he did. Oh God, I wish Perp was here because he did a review on it. I forgot the name of it, but it was because of him I watched the movie. It was fucking good. But anyways, yeah, I found the set okay. Like everyone praised it. I thought it was all right. It wasn't as good as his old stuff. But the one person that did actually get me to go back through and watch the set was Bill Burr. So let's talk about Bill Burr. And
You mean the guy that said he wanted a plague and it's here this year?
yeah,
I'm gonna say I was one of those people too that said we needed a plague.
yeah, Bill Burr. Bill Burr is like our Ricky Gervais. Well, actually, Ricky Gervais has said some stuff here, but
don't say that because I've watched Ricky Gervais stand up. Not as good as
hilarious.
not as good as his roasts. His roasts
not as good as him just fucking talking
than his stand up.
Oh, not as good as him just fucking like talking to the media is amazing. That man gets me cracking up. But according to this article, Bill Burr divides SNL viewers with controversial monologue. And keep in mind, too, I'm going to tell you guys a story about a Twitter adventure I had where I got into an argument with one of these fucking idiots. But anyways, Bill Burr took aim at white women in Pride Month during an SNL monologue. Bill Burr has been a staple of the comedy world for quite some time now, and fans always expect the best from him. As a stand-up comic who
Best
got his
as in
start,
the most offensive shit, right? Because that's if you're a fan of him, that's what you know.
yep. Let me get through this before we talk because I'm kind of tired. I want to get through all of these. It's been a long week. So, uh, anyways, his fans has always expected the best from him. As a stand-up comic who got started decades ago, Burr has never been one for being politically correct on his podcast. Burr has made sure to toe the line of what some on Twitter would deem unacceptable. Regardless, Burr has made it clear that he has no problems giving his true thoughts on any topic, needless of whether or not it will get him into trouble. This was especially true during his recent Saturday Night Live monologue. In fact, Burr touched on the Black Lives Matters movement and those who try to co-opt it. Burr specifically took aim at white women, which, as you can imagine, led to mixed reactions on social media. The comedian also made some comments about Pride Month. One of his comments were, somehow white women swung their Gucci booted feet over the fence of oppression and stuck themselves at the front of the line, Burr said. My life is so hard, my SUV and my heated seats. You have no idea what it's like to be me.
That's great.
That's a little long, don't you think, for a group of people that were never enslaved, Burr said, about Pride Month being longer than Black History Month. How did we get all of June? It gets better. How did they get all of June? The black people were actually enslaved. They got February. They get 28 days of overcast weather. The sun goes down at about 4 in the afternoon. Everybody's shivering, and no one wants to go to a parade.
Fuck.
Throughout the monologue, fans and detractors took to social media to give their opinions of what went down. As you will see with the tweets, some felt the monologue was disgusting, while others were excited to see Burr doing what they've come to expect from him, provocation. This is fucking hilarious. This is what we're talking about comedians being comedians, right? PB and I think Cyber, you were here for it too, when we had that discussion about how comedians are like not allowed anymore to be offensive. It's like they say something out in public that's meant to be a joke, and it's a pretty accurately fucking hilarious joke. And this is the bullshit that you get. But Burr just doesn't give a fuck. This man
Well, yeah, you can't make a joke about racial stereotypes or about the minorities, even though there's more females in America than males.
Here's something too.
Oh, go ahead, Cyber.
So, blacks had slavery, white slavery. There's been slavery all around. We all know that. But here's one thing about gay people. Back in Roman and Greek times, it was peak testosterone to be gay. I'm not shitting you with this. This is an actual thing. They didn't give a shit back then, man.
Here's the thing. The gay community went through some terrible shit, okay? I know that growing up in the 90s, we had all that awareness bullshit, whatever, okay? But the point he made, I never fucking thought about it till he said it. And I'm like, holy shit, that is true. I looked on the calendar and I was like, yeah, That's actually a pretty good point.
Yep, a
It was
lot
a
more
lot.
daylight in June.
And okay, so now after I've read this article and we talk about this, I'm gonna give you my own Twitter experience I had with this fucking Karen on here. Yeah, I'm gonna go there because one, if you get offended by being called a Karen, then clearly you're a Karen.
Then clearly, you're yeah. I mean, they get offended by calling
Like,
a Karen. What do they want us to call them? Cunt or bitch?
that was good. But no. So I'm gonna preference this because this is exactly what Bill Burr meant about these white women. I got into a fight with this fucking white woman about this comment because she clips that from his speech, like from Saturday Night Live, and she goes, "Oh my God, he's being so racist." And I said, "What?" I mean, I wish I could pull up this thread. I can't wait till I get my computer and but like this woman literally tells me, and I got into an argument with her about how he was like, she was like, "Oh, he's acting racist and being homophobic," and I go, "You do realize it is the complete fucking opposite of what you're arguing with. The clip is literally the opposite of what you're arguing. It's actually, he was talking about how black people are being shorted on their month for Black Pride Month and how white people hijack a black movement. How is this
No,
fucking
man, no, man.
racist?"
If a white person talks about black people, it's racist, especially if that white person has money. The only white people that can talk about black people are white people that are on the street behind a mask that are afraid to go to the polls.
Like this whole thing amazes me because there's all of this outrage, but when you really think about it, the people, there's this group of people, these idiots on Twitter, who are saying that he said all these things, but in the clip, he didn't say any of them. It's like cancel culture looks like a bunch of fucking retards. Oh, I'm sorry. Are we allowed to say that? Because, you
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
yeah, okay. I just want to make sure because
Just say it.
we
Nah,
live
you
in a
get the
fucking
pass.
pansy culture now. You can't say any of that stuff. They'll be like, well, you know what? They've been trying to fucking cancel me forever. I think hashtag cancel Zod was I think that's still circling
Oh, I
actually.
thought the hashtag I saw was Killzod.
Oh, good. I've graduated. They want to kill me now. If this is how I
It said
figure
you got a weak neck.
it. This is how I figure it. If you aren't pissing people off to the point of them always wanting to kill you or saying obnoxious things, to me, you are not a good comic. If they are not talking about how much of a fucking douchebag you are, you're a terrible comedian. So that, in theory, proves how great of a comedian Bill Burr is. Because
I mean,
to
that's
piss
not a
this many
bad
people
theory.
off,
Hey, Zod, you said that talking about how douchebag they are, but Fluffy is a great comedian, but he's not a douchebag.
oh, I'm pretty sure there's someone out there that says he's a douchebag and
Oh
he's
yeah,
exploiting fat people.
No. The reason why they call it he's probably called a douchebag is because he refused to get into politics and all that shit.
Well, yeah, that and
There was someone who
probably.
was trying to drag him into that months ago, and he's like, no, because he's
Well,
not that
well,
type of
that
comedian.
too. But Husky, just wait. There's gonna be a time where someone's gonna come out and mark my words that I said this because I know that guy's comedy and he's hilarious. But there's gonna be someone who's gonna come out there and go, this guy's exploiting being fat and the struggles that we have and blah 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 because that's the pussy pansy culture that we have. And I'm just gonna shoot it to you guys straight. honestly, we live in a culture now of pussy pansy bitches behind a keyboard who
The
talk a
cunts.
lot of shit. Yes. And they don't have the balls to say any of it to your face. Like, if you met any of these people, just for
No,
instance,
that's
just
the whole point.
hypothetically.
Like, if you're a cunt, you don't have balls. Like, that's the whole point.
I love that. You know, here's the thing. These people in real life are these fucking nerds that, you know, don't get laid or have no hopes and dreams. And, you know, I don't even really want to call them nerds because I know nerds who are cool. I know geeks that are cool. It's like they're in a class of their own, but they're these fucking little, they're obnoxious assholes that
No, they're
even the
just
geek community
douchebags.
wouldn't like. What was that?
They're just douchebags. Is that the word
Yeah,
you're looking
basically.
for?
But see, people have called me a douchebag too, so I don't really want to put them in that category because you could.
What?
No, you're not Zod. You are an asshole by
Oh, thank
definition.
you.
Because if you
Thank
listen
you.
to Dennis Leary's songs "Asshole" and his other song "Douchebag," you fit the category of asshole.
Yeah. You know what, Cyber? You know what, Cyber? That is true. I do fit. I knew there was a reason why I love that song. But yeah, I mean, you know, you got these fucks, and I hate to use these terms because I feel like now they're overusing them. But really, you have these NPC, SJW, blue-haired fucking weirdos,
Land whales.
land whales that have no life. That their whole state of being, their whole reason for existing, is purely to bitch and complain. And keep
Hey,
in mind.
man. I saw that episode of South Park. How do you kill that which has no life?
Yeah, I saw that too. That's why that show, I wish that show would stay on forever. Really, they don't have to go off the air. But anyways, you know what, PB, we'll talk about that one day. We'll talk about how we feel about South Park ending. I really feel like they could keep on going for years with all of the
Legit,
material.
the only reason South Park would probably end is if those two just get tired of making
I was gonna say
episodes.
either they get tired or one of them, dies of a disease or an accident
Yeah,
or
because
old age.
that would end the show.
You need both of them.
Uh-huh.
But here's the thing. You know, we don't on our channels, none of us, we kind of got out of this thing of using the SJW thing and stuff because it's being swung around a lot in the other direction as well. But here's
Oh, you guys are just reverse SJWs.
you know, it's being swung around by other people that we've known and come into contact with. But I mean, but here's the sad truth. If there was ever a time for this argument, this is the exact time to argue this because this is a perfect example of SJW NPC weirdos that, you know, they attack these people whose whole fucking job is to be. I don't think people realize the job of a comedian is to be controversial, is to make satire out of shit that is serious because it brings levity to life. And without levity, without laughing about some of this shit, you would go crazy. These people want to sit and feel sorry for themselves and drive us nuts with all their stupid, wacky fucking views and subject us to their bullshit. And then I think about it, I'm like, from the end of the SJW or the NPC that you have, like, how do these fucking people stay, I guess, sane? I mean, they're not killing people, but, you know, their version of sane. How do these people stay sane if all you do is think about how horrible you're being to another race, how horrible of an individual, and oh my God, I'm white, all of the oppression that I've put or that my forefathers or great fucking grandpappy put the slaves through back in the fucking 19th century. I mean, you must be a miserable prick, because just think about it for a
Yeah,
minute.
life must be
All
pretty
you-
terrible.
Yeah, all you do is sit in misery the whole time and look for shit to argue. That has got to be like, we sit here and argue satirically because that's our show. But we do it because, like comics, we find fun in the things that we do. So that hopefully everyone watching this, everyone who will watch this, finds humor for a couple of hours, being that everything in this world is going to a fucked up, scary place. You've got to find
Yeah, it's
levity.
ending, everybody. World's over. Only
Yep.
98 point some percent of us are going to remain.
Hey, make sure if the world's ending, you get me to fucking 500, because I'm not going to die at 402. I'm going to live in the 98% until I reach 500. And then, Jesus can take the wheel. But I mean, here's the thing. These people, I actually feel really sorry for, because they have to live in a perpetual state of misery in order to make our lives fucking miserable. I mean, they're those people that we saw back in the day that sat in the corner going, "Oh, bother, my life is terrible. It's gonna rain."
These are the people that try
Oh,
to.
shit.
No, these are the people that I'm saying it, the bastardized school system held up and said, everyone's special, everyone's important, special. And it created a narcissistic society where they think that they're right and the world has to be their way and in their image. And if you call them out on anything, they start playing victim. Because that's the other thing school taught you, is you got to play victim so you don't get in fucking trouble.
Hey, Cyber, you just said some really deep shit. I mean, you got super deep for this channel. Holy fuck.
Don't
You're making me
discount their parents.
Yeah.
No, I won't discount their
Cyber dropped
parents.
some knowledge on us.
Both of you two, like, you had a good line before that. Cyber followed it up with a good line. I got nothing.
No, but see, that's the thing here. That's the thing. I agree with Cyber, what Cyber saying. The school system, this is all a pattern. Like, everybody is wondering where this started, right? We've all been mulling it over, talking about it, watching our fucking franchises die, and wondering where this started. But this has been slowly creeping in. I'd say since the early 2000s, this has been a building thing till we got to the point of where we are.
The MCU is not dying. What are you talking about?
No, I mean, not the MCU, it's our society.
You said our
Yes,
favorite franchise is dying.
Oh no, I'm not okay. I mean, like, Star Wars and shit, not the MCU and Star Trek.
I'd have to
Oh,
find
now
the
you're being
video again.
overly dramatic.
I'd have to find the video again. I watched it. It's of a ex-KGB official who escaped the USSR.
Oh, one of your men?
In the 80s. This is Germany. Prussia is Germany.
Close enough.
he pulled some he pulled what's his face geography on you. Our favorite person. I gotta check in and see if he's committed suicide yet.
Anyways, this KGB agent, he said, because he explained where they did it several times, like, there was the Contra Awards and all those little things. He explained that all it takes is 25 years to implement the idea of communism, because 25 years is one generation of students.
So that's why Bernie Sanders is freaking out. He's like, the time is now. I got to do it immediately before the 1% figure it out.
All right, so we spent enough. We all agree this is a bunch of bullshit. And there's a lot of people on this aisle. This is going to be an argument. I'm actually shocked. I'll probably see it tomorrow because the big channels are lurking, I'm pretty sure, while I do this. Yeah, because I bet you there'll be 100 videos on this later on. But I wanted to cover this. Bill Burr, keep on doing what you do. Dave Chappelle, all of you guys who are trendsetters, who don't give a fuck, and you're gonna say what's on your mind. I salute you. I think you're keeping the spirit of comedy alive, and my hat's off to you for not giving a fuck what these little whiny bitches from either side are going to say. I wholeheartedly support this, and we need more people with balls to come out and say these things. And fuck these guys, and fuck the media and the way they've sold out. And fuck Brie Larson, because I just got to throw that in there every so often. Anyways,
unbelievable.
I'm gonna start tonight balanced as I always do. Let's talk about DC. I've got some exciting news on the DC front. Now, PB, both me and you have talked about the various DC Universe shows. I opened your eyes to a great world of the DC Universe. We've agreed that Titans is kind of a mixed bag, but their third season is coming out on HBO Max. And why I bring this up is because later I'm going...
Yeah, maybe we'll see Jorah Mormont in the suit.
That would be fucking fantastic. But I want to bring up the fact that this is on HBO Max, and hopefully they're getting $80 million for the show. Since reportedly Zack Snyder got 80 million now, the figure is
30. Whoa, what?
Yeah.
What?
Apparently he I went because he's now incorporating Green Lantern into the Snyder Cut. This fucking thing's gonna be a mess. I don't give a fuck what anyone tells me.
It sounds like a mess. It sounds like what we're all expecting Endgame to be.
Because now he's introducing the lanterns into it, and somehow this new Green Lantern show is going to be tied into this Snyder Cut coming out, or some such nonsense as that. So let's talk about filming
Spider-Man 3, because that's what this is. That's what that movie's panning out to be.
Oh God, no!
Too many characters.
Let's talk about filming begins on Titans Season 3, following the move to Max. Now, Titans is an interesting thing because for a while, I thought maybe it wouldn't make the move, but very cleverly, Titans got a renewal deal during Season 2. They got an immediate renewal for a Season 3.
Will they make the costumes better? Because all I remember is the only costume that looked nice.
So the Nightwing suit is bitchin', dude. It looks exactly like the Nightwing suit.
But that's it. That's his costumes. It's just the ones that look good. That's talking about everyone else.
No. Jason Todd also becomes Red Hood in this, reportedly. And
anyone that's not a part of the main Bat family.
Well,
do they have good costumes? Because last time I looked, they have terrible costumes.
Well, Cyber, I'm gonna get into that if you let me read the article, buddy. Don't do a rant yet. All right, save the rage. Hold on, I'm gonna elaborate. Filming begins on Titans Season 3, following the HBO Max move. Titans director and cinematographer Boris. Oh Jesus, that's a Russian name. Molesky took to Instagram to reveal the production has officially begun on the upcoming third season of the DC superhero series, which was delayed due to the zombie apocalypse. COVID. Season 3, Jesus Christ. Season 3 has moved from DC Universe to HBO Max. The transition into being solely a premium comic book service called DC Infinite has begun for DC Universe. Titan stars Burton from Gods of Egypt as Dick Grayson. Good God, don't ever reference that movie. That was fucking terrible. Tegan Croft from Home and Away as Raven, and Adopt from 24 Legacy. That show sucked dick. As Korad / Starfire. Alan Rickson from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Min K. Kelly from Friday Night Lights as Hawk and Dove. I think they mean as Dove. Hawk is completely different. Bruno, whatever the fuck his last name is, as Dr. Niles Calder. Lindsay Gort as Police Detective Amy Robic. Season 2 features Joshua Orphan as Connor, Issa Morales as
Dude,
Deathstroke.
are you gonna go through all of the characters that we already know?
No. All the fucking
Skip to
people
the
you
next
saw
paragraph.
all the people you saw in season 1 and season 2 are basically coming back. Meanwhile, the third season is expected to take place in Gotham with the introductions of Barbara Gordon, Red Hood, and Scarecrow. From
That's going to be interesting because, my honest opinion, the best Scarecrow look and performance was in the Arkham Knight game. Fight me.
Well, here's the thing. The look. Here's the thing. The look for the Scarecrow. It's funny. It's actually funny you bring that up because the look.
I
for
know, I'm
Scarecrow,
laughing.
The look for Scarecrow is actually from Arkham Asylum. I seen the production suits and whatnot. They got it on this in the article. The look actually looks like the Scarecrow from Arkham Asylum. So they're doing the full Scarecrow getup. They didn't show the Red Hood yet.
Before the look that they went with in Arkham Knight, similar but not it.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was way creepier in Arkham Knight.
You know, we're arguing semantics here, but yeah, I mean, it's still got that cool aesthetic. It looks like the Scarecrow character, and it looks creepy as hell.
And it's all got the like burlap bag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the weird ass. I don't know, are those goggles? I don't know what that is, but anyways, yeah, this looks really good. I've been a fan of Titans. PB, we talked about the good and the bad points of this. We did a review of the DC shows. They only really have one problem, which we've talked about, and it seems to be within the story and them playing with but not wanting to really include Batman. I'm hoping this deal changes that. Because there's been a bunch of copyright laws.
Especially, I don't need to be extra teased with this fantasy Bruce Wayne, because it's not actually Bruce Wayne. He's just fighting a ghost in his mind in his cell.
And I mean, here's the thing. I
watched the storyline on Arrow already. Stop stealing from yourselves.
And here's the thing. We've already had 2 seasons to kind of set up the characters. We've gotten to know them, and their excuse for not having Batman, I call it an excuse, because well, there were copyright things besides this story thing, but they were saying they wanted the characters to be focused on the Titans, and not focus on Batman in it so much. They wanted it to focus on Dick Grayson and the main cast.
That's fine.
Okay, cool.
Just keep him to a minimal amount of scenes. That's okay.
Exactly. Now they have the rights. They have a good person playing him. I think now you can have scenes with fucking Batman and not teasing or having it be an illusion and all that bullshit. They should actually now show interactions between Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne. You know, you don't even have to have
Okay,
Batman
but
fighting.
okay.
I mean, this show actually isn't about Batman. You
I
know,
know it's not about Batman, or else it would be called something more in line with Batman instead of Titans.
so I mean, here's the thing. I do like the way that they present, you know, Dick Grayson wanted to be on his own or whatever else, but I do agree with you at the same time. If you're going to have him be in there as a mentor figure or whatever the case is, you know, you should show him every once in a while and not fucking show this bullshit silhouette thing and him jumping around and things like that and being like, oh,
No, he
oh,
jumped out a
we're gonna,
window.
yeah. Oh, is he? No, no, he's not there. Ha,
Nope,
we
no
subverted
Batman.
your expectations.
I
But
don't
yeah,
want my expectations subverted. I want them shattered.
and now here's the other thing. The Red Hood storyline. This presents a problem
I have
because,
no idea what that is.
okay, the Red Hood storyline comes from Robin, which is Jason Todd's Robin. If everyone doesn't know, it's from a comic book series called A Death in the Family, and it's where Joker essentially really pushes the envelope and kills a Robin. He's one of the only Robins to actually be, and I'm doing air quotes here, killed. And he later takes on the mantle of Red Hood, which is kind of like a Punisher type figure, if you want to go that route, because
Wait, so the Joker killed Jason Todd while he was Robin, but he didn't actually kill Jason Todd as Robin, and then he was gallivanting as another vigilante
Well,
called the Red Hood.
yeah, which is actually
What the
a
fuck?
a
depending on
homage.
what story you read, Joker did kill him, but Rush al Ghul. Don't care if
Okay,
I
Yeah,
mispronounce it. Everyone mispronounce
don't
it.
care.
Revived him in a Lazarus pit. At least that's what they
yeah,
did in that movie.
Oh,
So
yeah. So
whatever way you look at it with that story.
yeah,
okay. I like that way better. Okay.
and now and like here's the thing: we haven't seen Ra's al Ghul whatsoever in Titans, and we've not gotten even an indication of the Joker being in this version of Gotham. So this means that if they do introduce the Red Hood in this iteration of the Batman mythology, it's going to be a completely different death. And me, I don't care. We've seen this the old version of Red Hood. It had its own movie. It's called The Red Hood. There's literally an animated movie about it, so I don't need it to be like on screen again. I know there's going to be a bunch of people who are going to be pissy and be like, "Oh my god, that's not how Jason died in the comics." You know what? You build a bridge and get over it.
Or they won't even
Shit gets
mention how
changed.
he died.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to do his death, but it's going to be vastly different from what the comics did. I don't have a problem with that. But what's going to be an issue is how they set it up, because I would like the death to be cool. You guys know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Have they
I don't.
introduced
No, I
Black
get you.
Mask at
Maybe
all?
they'll kill him with what Lemon Pie said. Pasta fagool.
Okay. Have they introduced Black Mask yet?
No.
Okay, so that
No.
rules out the idea, because he does have a hatred for Black Mask.
I mean, they have been building up this thing, and PB, from watching the show, they've been building up this thing of him being kind of edgy and doing stuff that would lead to him dying because of how reckless he is. So
I
they've
mean,
kind of
I don't think any of us appreciated it when the Prime Minister of Canada put on his black mask.
but but
Oh,
yeah,
you're
I mean,
talking about a comic book character. I mean, he's the same level as a comic book character, but that's not the point.
yeah, I would say he's more of a
No,
supervillain.
it wouldn't surprise me if they do that storyline while introducing the villain who does it.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to use Scarecrow if they're talking about Scarecrow being the main villain. And we all know from Batman Begins, because I'll use a movie reference so we keep PB happy. We
Yay!
all we all know about his fear-inducing toxin. So it's very possible he gets sprayed with that toxin and gets killed by a fear or an illusion or whatever his mind projects and falls off of a building or some shit. And we think, oh my God, he's dead. And then he comes back as the Red Hood. That to me would be the most logical way to tie in the storyline.
Okay, well, people seem to be upset with the term Red Hood. Sounds
Yeah, I saw
racist.
Bitchy.
Like it's a gang, but with Native Americans, says Bitchy Unicorn. And Lemon Pie said, good point. Let's change it to Native American Hood. Except I thought that we change it to the Communist Hood. Or the Hammer and Sickle Hood.
No, anyone who reads, okay, now I'm going back to pissing off PB. Anyone who reads the comic book
source material.
This was also in a animated film, so there we go. There's your film, called The Red Hood. Jason Todd took the Red Hood as a way to give a big middle finger to the Joker because there's speculation the Joker was originally part of this gang called the Red Hoods, or he used it during a robbery where he fell into the vat of acid and became the clown for his crime.
He did it all
But
classic with motorcycle feathers. That's a line I remember from that because it's funny because he made a great point on that. He kept like pushing that idea.
Yeah. So I mean, the Joker's hilarious, but I mean, so there's this idea, but here's the thing: it's kind of going to change if they use the Scarecrow's introduction as killing Jason Todd. It's kind of change what the Red Hood means in general. Like they're gonna have to change what his meaning is behind it.
No, now, but he doesn't die. You told me he doesn't die, or he dies and gets brought back to life.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. He was brought back to life by the Lazarus Pit. So if that's not a thing, and Ra's al Ghul hasn't been introduced at all, then there's got to be another way that they bring him back to life. Or maybe
Deathstroke sometimes has ties with Al Ghul, so there's your Lazarus Pit.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I do like
but
the
whole thing
show.
is, like I said, they don't have to explain how he died or anything. Maybe they'll say that for like the next season how he died. Keep it a mystery.
I thought that's what they do, but they're saying they're introducing him, and everyone knows Jason Todd is.
If they introduce him, they don't have to show how he died.
Or they could just have him come in, and we think it's Jason Todd, but maybe it's not.
Oh, Timon Flip says, make it a baseball cap, red cap. Oh wait.
Timon, you clever bastard. But yeah, so I brought this up because it seemed interesting. I'm pretty excited about season 3. It gets a lot of shit from critics and from the core comic book fans. We all know them. Me and PB have had such stupid debates with them on Twitter. You know, I agree with the theory of if you're going to do a character, you don't have to do it panel for panel, the comic book. You just have to keep what the essence of the character is. Okay. You can change the character to anything. Well, I'm going to give a recently good example. Stormfront in The Boys. Okay. When they
I
announced,
like me
yep,
some
this,
Stormfront.
yeah, when they announced this,
I
when
feel
they
a high
announced this,
pressure system moving in.
when they announced this, everybody flipped the shit and they said, "Oh my God, The Boys is going over to the dark side. They're gender bending the
I
character."
said at least they casted a hot person.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, but okay,
Yeah.
all right, hold on a second. When they casted this, everybody said, "Oh my God, the show's gonna go downhill. They're going woke." You know, that whole cliche argument. And then Stormfront wound up being the most interesting character of the season, one of the top three. It was, at least my list is Homelander, Billy Butcher, and Stormfront were the best developed characters of the season. And then the rest were just kind of the way they always were in the first season. But those were the top three most interesting characters of the season, right? They had the best development. And the irony is, I actually think I like this version better than the comic book version because the comic book version doesn't give a whole lot of backstory to Stormfront.
oh,
I mean,
Homelander isn't gay in the comic books.
Homelander, I don't know what he is. There's an arc called
Well, I mean, he had
Herogasm.
sex with Stormfront in the show, and
He
if
doesn't
he's a
have sex
man in
with
the comic book,
he doesn't have sex with Stormfront in the comic book, but it is implied that he might be self-hatingly gay. It's weird. They yeah, his character is fucked up in the comic.
yep,
Uh,
big time. Well, he's fucked up in the head.
yeah, but let's just say the show does a good grounded version where the actor is brilliant. He plays him well, and you know he's fucked up, but they don't really have to go as over the top as the comic went to see that he's a fucked individual. His sexuality, though, is kind of like more of a god complex. He fucks men and women just because he can, basically, in the comics.
Pretty
And
much.
who the fuck's going to tell him not to or that he can't? So, I mean,
I don't know.
that's
Still
basically.
waiting to see what his kryptonite is.
Yeah, I'm not going to give that away, but I mean, yeah, it's interesting. Anyways, so the whole thing is that they've changed the character, right? But they did it properly. They gender swapped the character, sure, but the changes they made sense to making Stormfront a legitimate character in the story they were telling. If they do that with Titans and they give Red Hood a good origin and a reason for being there, then it doesn't matter what you change the story to fit what you're telling, as long as you keep the essence of what the character is, which is Jason Todd dies, air quotes, gets brought back, is pissed, and starts a vendetta with Batman and Robin because he blames them for his death. So, I mean, as long as you keep that core concept, you can change the origins to anything you want to and still make it good. It's all in the writing. Now, here's the problem with Titans. The writing is inconsistent as fuck, and we've talked about this, BB. There's a lot of things where they start out with good stuff, and then sometimes they go off the fucking rails, and that's the problem that the show has, is you have very inconsistent writing. You'll have, like, really good plots and points and fucking spectacular, like, season finals and things like that. But it's the little middle piece where they kind of struggle to bring everything together, and it doesn't really make sense until the end. And that's the problem with this show. So, adding cool
Wrong.
characters, no, not wrong. Not at
Sure.
all. The
There were
story was
no
inconsistent.
problems in season 2. Stop
Yeah,
parroting Jeremy Johns.
Actually, he hasn't done a review on
Lemon
Titans.
Pie has a question for you, General Zod. He asks, Homolander?
uh, yeah. There's some things. That comic is hardcore.
Geekocidal
Geekocidal tendencies.
Tendency says,
Yeah, go
Stormfront
ahead.
made my nether region smile.
Timon
I
Flip
want to
says,
know
Zod,
how you make that area smile.
Timon Flip says, Zod, you are the first that I heard saying something positive about the second season. No, there's a lot of positive reviews. It just depends on who you're watching.
I guess, we did an entire review of it. What was that, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, and
Or was that
Thoris.
last week? I don't remember.
Yeah, and Thoris, the one
Thorias?
that Thorias, yeah.
Unlimited.
He's normally really harsh and nitpicks, really reaches sometimes for things that are sprinkled in the show. But even he said the second season was fantastic. I watch Fan Addicts of Film. There's people who have said some stuff. The problem with the season, which I will stand by, is this weekly format is.
I know, you'll never stop standing by Jeremy Johns.
Oh yeah, Jeremy Johns said too, though, that there was it's some inconsistencies too. Until you watch it as a whole, then it makes sense. Timon Flip says most reviews I have seen hated specifically episode 7 and 8. See, I would say the reverse. Most reviews I've
That's
seen
ridiculous.
have said that 7 and 8 is where they pulled it together because it doesn't all tie in until those episodes.
Oh, Geekocidal Tendencies. That is funny shit. He said, I thought Smile was better than Tingle, but it's not because,
Tingle.
Marvel fan.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. They said that, and this is critics too. They said 7 and 8 went too far, specifically the part where he was jacking off at the end on top of the building. I thought that was fucking hilarious. But
it was totally fucking ridiculous. And who am I to say what is necessary to make Homelander look like a total fucking maniac, because that's what he is. I didn't expect him to be doing what he was doing, and then I didn't expect him to be standing where the hell he's standing. What the actual hell?
And if you want to get deep with it, this actually shows the character state. I mean, think about the scene as a whole, and I understand why it's in there. That last shot shows how he feels he has power over all of these people. And what's the biggest symbol of power but whipping your dick out and jerking off for essentially the world to see? You just look up and see some guy fucking jerking off at the top of a building. You're like, what the fuck? And then you see the cape and you're like, well, I'm not going to say anything. That's fucking Homelander jerking off on top of that building. I mean, it's an ultimate power dominating kind of play, which fits into his character and what he is. He's narcissistic. He's quite possibly insane and doesn't give a shit about showing his power and his strength. There's a lot of deeper meaning into that scene. But initially you just look at it and go, holy fuck, someone's jerking off on top of a building. But I mean, there's a lot more to the character in that one moment that shows how vain and narcissistic and how he basically thinks he could do whatever he wants to, and who the fuck's going to tell him not to? He's essentially Superman. So, I mean, deeper meanings and all that. But anyways, I got way the fuck sidetracked here.
The boys will do that.
So, there's 2 articles for this one subject. I'm gonna do this in reverse.
Oh, you're gonna talk about effing Dexter, aren't you?
Yes, because this
God damn
is
it.
actually the second article references
Well,
this
nobody's going to stick around any longer because the meat and potatoes of our live stream is in the first hour. At least that's what Trinity told me when I was listening earlier. Like, nobody watches past the first 60 to 90 minutes.
Well, then
So
I
I'm
guess
sure the show is. I'm sure from this point forward, nothing hilarious or fantastical is going to happen, people.
That's the most ridiculous statement I've heard. So, speaking of words, let me give you a reference to this before I even get to this article itself, because I'm a huge Dexter fan, and the show died for me at about season 4. And you know who killed the show? John Lithgow. He literally killed the people in the show and the show itself because he was one of the greatest. I would put him at Joker level great villainy in this season. If you don't give a shit about the rest of the show, just watch season 4 and tell me it is not the most Emmy-worthy performance of a television actor ever. It was Breaking Bad level of brilliance, and his villain really killed the show because after John Lithgow, they had no one else who could follow that fucking performance. He was scary. He was menacing. He was the first one to find out Dexter was a killer. He had one of the greatest lines of a fucking second to last episode of a season ever, where he fucking walks into his job and he says, "Hello, Dexter Morgan," which basically signified he figured out who the fuck he was and what he was doing. It was one of the biggest, greatest reveals of a show ever. And then it went downhill.
Wait, John Lithgow knew who Dexter was the entire time?
No, he figures it out. So Dexter was basically stalking him and befriends him, and then he sees he has a family, and Dexter is married and going through some problems, and he's trying to figure out how he's been a serial killer for so long and maintains a family life while he's having a hard time balancing his night work with his day job. And so
What
he
kind of
gets
gay job did he have?
no, his day job. He's a blood analyst. Anyways,
That sounds pretty gay.
so anyways, he figures out who Dexter is because Dexter tries to fucking kill him during a Thanksgiving gathering. He loses his temper because he finds out that John Lithgow is actually a horrible person, basically holding his family hostage, and they're scared as shit of him. Oh yeah, he's fucking beating his son, and he like locks the daughter in a room, and the wife is fucking terrified of him. Like he's all business, and he kills in threes. They think so they call him the Trinity Killer, but actually it's revealed later he kills in fours because he kills a woman in a bathtub, which is supposed to represent his mother. He kills, I think, a father or something. And I forgot what the third one is, but it's supposed to
killed
represent
a priest?
No. But he also
That's what you just said.
No, like a father figure. And then he also kills
like a priest.
himself. Well, everyone he kills is a metaphor for his life and how fucked up. Like he had a traumatic incident happen to him. They didn't figure out that his first kill is a boy, which is supposed to represent him. So he kills an 8-year-old boy, and then he starts his murder cycle. So Dexter figures it out, confronts him, he gets away, and then he puts together who Dexter is and goes to his fucking job and basically lets him know, "I know who you are and back the fuck off," which Dexter doesn't. and the season ends with him killing a main character, his wife, in a bathtub. And he finds his
You're
wife.
telling me John Lithgow kills Dexter's wife?
Yep.
Excellent.
So yeah, he kills the
Now I
wife,
can
and it's
fast
like,
forward to season 5.
no. After that, Game of Thrones it, because after that it just went downhill. And season 6 was the most fucking ridiculous. Oh my god, there was so many plot holes. They literally, anytime a show goes to shit at the end, I'm gonna call it Game of Throning it, because that's what they did with this. They fucking Game of Thrones the ending. It made no sense. So this is why I'm not really excited about a revival, because when we leave Dexter, this is the whole thing, okay? This is the ridiculous, stupid season final. I'm going to save you guys all time. You're welcome, because I watched that bullshit as it premiered, pissed as fuck, okay? So he tracks this killer who doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but he tracks this killer down, kills the killer in a police station, and all of the police just let him go because, he shot his sister, and they're like, oh, well, he was a killer, so fuck
Warranted.
law and due process. Yeah, so they just let him walk out of the police station. That's plot hole number 1. Number 2, he takes his sister out of the hospital, who I guess dies off screen. You don't even see her die. I mean, one scene they're like, oh, she's gonna make it. The next scene, just dead. So he takes her, goes on a boat. There's a big fucking storm that's coming. Rides his fucking boat into the storm. Disappears, and they're all like, oh, Dexter had grief and blah, 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 and him and his sister died in the storm. Then they cut, and they show Dexter off in, I don't know where the fuck, with a big-ass lumberjack beard, and he just kind of looks at the camera, and that's how they end it. And that's the end of the whole entire show. And I'm like, what the actual fuck just happened? What? I mean, I knew the season was fucked because it was all over the place, but that ending was one of the fucking worst endings of television. Besides, actually,
Lost.
Game of Thrones, Lost, and Dexter are probably the 3 worst endings I've ever seen for a show, fucking ever.
How I Met Your Mother had a terrible ending.
No, that to me was far superior to those endings. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah,
Nothing
it was. It was just.
At least we knew how the fuck he met the mother. I mean, granted, she died, and that pretty much made the whole show pointless. But I mean, at least
he met her in the last episode, though.
No, but at least you got to see how he met the mother.
Yeah.
I mean, it somewhat went back to the title. These 3 endings gave us the most unsatisfying, stupid fucking answers to questions you've wanted to see for years. That's what makes a terrible finale to me. If I get to the ending and I'm like scratching my head, wondering what the fuck this decision making. I mean, just think about Game of Thrones. What does the White Walkers mean? Nothing. They're not important. Fucking Arya Stark's gonna kill them. Who gives a fuck, right? The king is Bran the fucking Broken. I mean, that's a terrible ending because nothing is remotely even close to what you expect. I mean, you don't have to give me anything.
Second time this week I've heard somebody rant about Game of Thrones season 8.
That's because it's fucking trash.
On a podcast. The one earlier.
Yeah, you
this
do
week
realize
was on
me and
Steel
PB
Toe.
started this whole thing thanks to Game of Thrones season 8. I think if season 8 never happened, me and PB would have never started these shows. I mean, it's pretty much what started us on our quest of doing these shows together. Because we just did a review week by week, and it just got worse and worse.
I was like, okay, I'll give him another week. I was still on board through week 2, even though all of season 7 made me upset because the way time worked was all fucked up, but that's not the point. And then we got to episode 3, and I was like, okay, where's the episode? Oh, I did see the last thing that happened. Apparently, Araya can jump higher and farther than Michael fucking Jordan.
And then you get to the ending, and it's just like, what the actual fuck just happened? Like, it's just what happened?
Know
So
what the dumbest thing is about that whole season? This is what I saw because I
everything.
was on the sideline. No, it's the fans thinking the next episode was going to be the best episode of the season.
No,
I
no,
agree.
no. After I watched episode frickin' 5, I knew
I'm
for a
talking about.
fact
I'm
that the
talking about the
last.
general. I'm talking about the general audience, like especially on Twitter. Everyone's like, "Oh,
Oh,
the next episode is going to be the great episode," and then there'd be like a clip or a scene. They're like, "Ah." And then the episode would play and it'd be the end and it'd be over and then people would be like, "What the fuck?" And then I'd just sit there to laugh again.
bastard.
That was
Laugh at my
entertaining.
pain.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
Timon Flip.
entertaining.
Don't worry, we'll get to Arrow. I saw the Arrow comment. Don't worry.
Yeah,
I'm
what's
sure.
the what's the Vikings record this year?
It's shit. I know.
All right,
I laugh at your pain.
all right.
What
So
pain? This is
let's
normal.
let's get to
This
the
is
article.
normal. Oh, they suck. He said that it's normal for the Vikings to suck.
Oh yeah.
So sucky teams aside, so Dexter ended on a very sour note. So Showtime got the brilliant idea of reviving the series. But now here's the first issue I have with this. They're starting off where they left this fucking horrendous plot. So Michael C. Hall will return as the avenging serial killer in 8 years after the last show aired. After a Pacific Northwest, Dexter is headed back to Showtime. The premium cable outlet has ordered 10 episodes, Dexter limited series that will reunite Michael C. Hall with and the original showrunners together. The show will be a continuation of the original 8-season series, which ended in 2013 with Hall's Dexter Morgan going on a self-imposed exile as a lumberjack living a solitary life. Jesus fucking Christ, that was so fucking terrible. Why? Anyways, production is scheduled to begin early next year and planned for fall 2021. Dexter is such a special series for both the millions of fans of Showtime before the last season. I ad-libbed that as the breakthrough show that helped put our network on the map for many years. It did until you gave us that fucking terrible season, Showtime. Entertainment President Gary Levine said, "We would only revisit this unique character if we could find a creative take that was truly worth the brilliant original series." Then why the fuck did you do the ending like that, Gary? Why? Because the ending wasn't fucking brilliant, buddy. You and me were watching two very different fucking shows. That ending was fucking trash. Anyways, and we can't wait to shoot it and show it to the world. Rather than the open-ended conclusion to the series that led to widespread speculation about a spinoff, which didn't happen because people were pissed, David
I feel
Nunes,
like you, in that previous sentence, I think you might have misread it slightly. I feel it was meant to be read as, we're excited to shoot it and get paid.
yeah, that's what I feel like. There was supposed to be a spinoff that was going to be a continuation. It felt like a new show, and Hall was involved. Philip served as showrunner for the first 4 seasons. Good. This really explains a lot. So he was a showrunner for the first 4 amazing seasons, and then he left in 2009. That really explains why the show dropped off.
And then what happened?
During his tenure on the show, he earned 3 Emmy nominations for Best Drama, series and 4 Writers Guild Award nominations in the same category. He signed an overall deal with Showtime and CBS Television Studios earlier in the year, leading to further speculation about the potential Dexter revival. Shortly after the widely D-rated series final, D-rated is that shit should have been F-rated. Phillips told E! Online that his vision for the series final would have involved Dexter about to be executed for his crimes. Thank you! That's the fucking ending I wanted. Why the fuck did you leave, Phillips? Why did you leave? That's what all of us fucking expected. That he was going to be in the electric chair, and him narrating the whole time was how he got to being fucking executed. Why the fuck did this guy leave? Why did they let him? Okay. In the gallery are all the people that Dexter killed, which obviously would have cut off paths to a revival. Hall, for his part, received 5 straight lead acting Emmy nods for playing Dexter and won Golden Globe and SAG Awards for his role in 2010. His recent credits include Netflix Safe and featured The Report. Phillips and Hall will executive produce the Dexter limited series. The show is the latest of several revivals Showtime has mounted in recent years. Twin Peaks: The Return, which was fucking amazing. The L Word, which should have stayed buried. Generation Q, which was fucking ridiculous. Penny Dreadful's City of Angels, which was canceled. The latter of which was canceled after a single season. I said that. And David Lynch and Mark Forrester's Twin Peaks revival was only intended for a 1 series run, which made sense how they ended it. Separately, Starz is developing a sequel to the former Showtime series Weeds, which would be interesting because of how that ended. So, okay. So why I brought that up is because of the fact that Dexter is not the only show that people were being revived. And now, when I bring up the other show is kind of funnier because it recently ended and people were so pissed off. They were like, holy fuck, we just lost one of our stupidest shows. And our verse is going to shit now. So we gotta bring back the big guns to keep people interested again. So the other show that ties into this article is, of course, Arrow. So
how the fuck does Arrow tie into Dexter?
So in the spirit
Dexter's in the Arrowverse?
Fuck, now that would be awesome. Stephen Amell teases Arrow returning following the Dexter revival. That's literally the name of the article. Yep.
What was that? Gone for like a year?
What website are you on?
9. Oh, not even a year. So even shorter than that.
Okay, now I'm gonna preference this with take this as a grain of salt because it is on a site that we all know and love.
We got this covered, isn't it?
Yeah, that could be either true or false. But it makes sense considering that Dexter is being revived and that there is some direct quotes that I also sourced with Entertainment Weekly and things like that. So it's not just them covering this. Although it's only been 9 months since saying goodbye to Oliver Queen and Arrow, no, I'm gonna revise that since saying goodbye to Arrow because Oliver Queen was in 3 episodes of his show.
Yeah, but he learned for a fact that he already knew that his son was gay.
Oh yeah, glad we had that. Anyways, and Arrow since has been a grueling nature of 2020 that the events of January now feel like they took place years ago. The final was intended as a fitting conclusion to the story of Green Arrow. But the surprise revival of Dexter for a limited series has now sparked the possibility of the show coming back at some point. This talks about Dexter and what that was about, so I'm not going
Dude,
to
if they got
go into
80
that.
fucking $million to spend on the Snyder Cut, you could spend some money and throw some episodes at Stephen Amell. Do it up,
Uh,
HBO.
it seemed like, if not in any way a good stopping point, it was at least an absolute one. No, it wasn't, making the revival that much more of a surprise. And in response to the news, Stephen Amell tweeted a simple reaction, but one that sent a clear message. It was Amell himself who decided that it was time for that his time as the Emerald Archer needed to come to an end. As even though his
False.
super his even though his superhumanly athletic gradually aging meant that he couldn't keep up putting his body through the punishment required to maintain such a physique. The final of Arrow was similarly terminal, seeing Oliver die twice using the nigh omnipotent powers of the Spectre to
Wait,
reboot
he
the universe.
died twice? No, the only
Yeah.
person that can do that is Nikki Sixx, man.
That's a good one. He used the power of the Spectre to reboot the universe and going on to an afterlife paradise with Felicity. Despite the finality, though, it needed to be the end of his adventures. While resurrecting Oliver is likely out of the question, as it would rob the events of Crisis on Infinite Earth and of the emotional impact. There's certainly potential of him returning as the spirit of vengeance. Should some cosmic force emerge to threaten his friends, that's too powerful for them to overcome alone.
I
Or
thought
if
Ghost Rider was a Marvel property.
that I was just gonna say that. or or if Barry's habit of screwing up the timeline requires his intervention. It's always been apparent that Amell has a great deal of affection for his time on Arrow and an equal level of esteem for the loyal fan base. So his declaration of being open to returning to the role in some capacity, however many years down the line, is doubtless genuine. We can only hope if and when it happens, it will be afforded the respect and consideration it deserves. I wanted to highlight that last end because the end of that was disrespectful. And we talk about this. That the way his character went out and the way it was presented in the final, even he did not like what they did.
Okay,
I
cool. So that means they need to bring him back, and you know what that means can happen?
We get a better final.
That means he can team up with the Green Lantern.
Well, this is because of Diggle's story at large. But here's the thing. This makes sense to me because the show, The Canaries or whatever the fuck that all female show was supposed to be, was immediately not picked up. Okay, Supergirl was canceled. So the Arrowverse has
they came to a mutual understanding to end the show.
So to me, it sounds like the CW put all of this female empowerment shit in the forefront. People started going, I don't want to see this shit. And now they're going, holy fuck, people don't want to see a bunch of stupid political bullshit in their shows. We've got to bring back the OG, or our Arrowverse is going to be fucked. Because
I know how they can bring him back. They just got to introduce Constantine.
I mean, they already have
he is
Constantine,
introduced. He's on DC's Legends of
Legends
Tomorrow.
of Tomorrow.
Just get him in there, and you can do something very, very interesting of
Magical.
how he brings him back.
Yeah, here's the thing: Constantine can't because they fucked themselves with that storyline. He's the Spectre, so he can't be brought back by Constantine. Technically, his essence or his soul is alive in Spectre, but his body is not.
Yeah, but
Constantine
he got
needs the
destroyed
best.
as the Spectre to restart the universe.
Yeah, so that they essentially eliminated a way for Constantine to bring him back because Constantine
But
needs.
then he went to some fucking alternate dimension heaven with Felicity. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I mean, I find it funny that they're talking now. Here's the difference. Let's look at the reason why I bring up Dexter, because let's look at just the revival aspects, right? They're two different shows. Both of them ended shitty. Now, let's look at the time gap, though. Let's look at the time gap, though. Dexter's shittiness ended about 8 years ago. 8 years makes sense to kind of revive the show because it's been time for us to forget how fucking terrible that ending is, except for me because I have all the fucking seasons.
Well, and there's no salmon ladder in Dexter.
But I mean, yeah, so there's been time for them to kind of let the hatred for that die down and then restart it and people can have those fond memories and be like, oh, maybe it'll be good. But I'm gonna be reviewing it. I have no hopes. But anyways, now I find it hilarious that the Arrows final was 9 months ago, and yet they're already talking about reviving it. You see, there's a big difference between reviving Arrow and reviving Dexter because Arrow's ending immediately pissed people off. And I don't blame them because, I mean, I hadn't even watched the whole series in the entirety. I just started going back through and watching it. And yeah, that last season fucking jumped the shark big time.
It pulled a left shark.
Yeah. Here's the thing, PB. I don't know about you, but it felt like instead of actually ending Arrow's storyline, they wanted to do what DC does when they fuck up. They wanted to set up a bunch of other shit really quickly, right? They're trying to set up the daughter's storyline and make her own spin-off show and all this other shit that they do. And, wrap up the Crisis on Infinite Earths and all of this stuff. And they forgot the big point and the fucking name of the show, Arrow. They don't give Arrow a good fucking resolution whatsoever. I don't give a fuck about him going to the alternate dimension heaven bullshit with Felicity. And oh my God, people get the Felicity Oliver thing. I never gave a fuck about that. I thought that was the stupidest storyline ever and that they overplayed it and people got sick of that. So, I mean, that resolution was really fucking stupid. It was the stupidest thing ever.
Option number 2 to bring him back. They're going to introduce the Blackest Night.
I mean, they could do that. That
They
would
could
make
do
sense.
that. That'd be entertaining.
Wait, what is that?
well,
Wait, what is that?
It's the soft reboot that DC had where the Black Lanterns rose and they basically the rings go to anyone who's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is kind of how this whole storyline is how they killed off some people, they brought back some people just came back just, to be alive. And also during that timeline is when Barry Allen came back because he was been running. He's been outrunning death for like 20 years after he got killed by the Anti-Monitor in the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Well, he came back before that, but it's very interesting. I only got one part of the comic, and someone told me to get the Jeff John omnibus that has all the stories neatly laid out.
Yeah,
But it's a very interesting story.
But the problem with that is they talked about doing that for the Green Lantern series, so they want to introduce that storyline on HBO Max. So, although they did say, and they've referenced this in articles, and the creators of these different shows have come out and said they're all fucking connected now. Nothing is separate. So, essentially, anything they do on any platform, whether it's the CW or HBO Max, they're somehow loosely connected. Fuck all if I know how exactly, and I follow this shit. But apparently, even the Snyder Cut and the Snyderverse, it'll all be connected, which is going to be, as we've said before, a big clusterfuck. Like, they just started actually cleaning this up, and now they're like, oh, we've got to pull a Marvel and just connect everything because people like connected universes. I know one person on this panel does.
I know they have multiverses and freaking like several different parallel universes in DC.
Yeah, but it's not.
But they're not doing it the right way because they haven't introduced like
Exactly.
Earth 3 or anything like that.
It's not you. It's not.
I mean, they were doing it the right way exclusively on the TV shows at first.
Yep.
But
And
now
that,
since the end of Arrow, when they reset everything with the Crisis, that was meant to reset literally everything.
and this idea kind of blew up in their faces because what they were trying to introduce, no one fucking cares about. Like, no one had any interest in this. The shows that actually kept the viewers and were interesting have been kind of pushed to the side. I think now the only ones I really care about and thought got good, I actually kind of got into Black Lightning. That's not a half bad show. And Legends of Tomorrow, but I don't give a fuck about anything else. So, I mean, they lost.
I care about all of them because they're connected to each other.
Well, see,
and yeah, they connected the movies because Ezra was in, I don't remember which episode. I think it was the episode of The Flash.
Yeah, he was in the Crisis episode of The Flash, which, you know, why the fuck you would get him the worst fucking iteration of Flash ever.
Well, they got the one from the 90s too there, guy.
No. I'm talking about...
He played a much bigger role.
Yeah, that was better, but still. You know, Ezra Miller just brings that episode down significantly. Even though that was probably the funniest I've ever seen him.
And
yeah.
It makes it all connected. And then when it reset, it was meant to reset everything. And then immediately, all of the CW shows were all on the same
Adam
Earth.
West Batman universe supposed to be all connected in this?
I mean, like,
I know if he was alive, they probably would have done it.
Cyber. That's another fucking mind melting thing. No one knows what the fuck is going on with the Batman universe because CW
and all the cartoons
Batman.
are now wound up in it, right? Yes,
but apparently everything's
live
connected.
action.
Well, yeah, the cartoons are directly connected to live action shows. Like Harley Quinn is directly connected to Doom Patrol, right?
Mm-hmm.
Friggin' Mr. Nobody.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, I don't know. I think some shows pull it off better than others. It's kind of interesting, too, because now they connected Lucifer, and Lucifer was a fucking, like, Fox show that went to Netflix. And Netflix, it would make sense because they cut ties with Marvel. So I wouldn't mind seeing DC stuff on Netflix. I think that would be cool, considering that they made one of the best Marvel shows with Daredevil. So, I mean,
Okay, well, that's totally possible because, like I was saying before, after everything reset, all of the CW shows that were currently on TV were meant to be on the same Earth, and they were calling that Earth Prime. And then, as soon as Stargirl started, they had to clarify what was going on because it was classified as a CW show as well because they were airing it there. And they said, nope, that's on a different Earth because it has different history. And then then I decided to look into it. And they were like, that's on a different Earth. The Doom Patrol Titans Earth is a different Earth. So yeah, stuff got reset, but some of it
Next
got
thing you're gonna
reset
tell
back to
me
where
that
it was.
DC's next thing you're gonna tell me DC's gonna claim, yeah, I also Marvel's tied in somewhere here because of all these universes and stuff. Just wait, and if they actually decide to do the because DC and Marvel have that one character
Yeah.
they own together. That's what they use for the crossover comics. They introduce him at all. We're gonna have Marvel DC crossovers.
no,
And then the
Kevin will never
Marvel
let that
Cinematic
happen.
Universe will be connected with the DC Universe.
No, unless Kevin does not have control, he's directly come out and said he won't do any crossovers with DC. I don't know
Ain't
what the
no
fuck
fun
DC
because
said.
I want to see Superman and
Well,
with
I mean,
everyone else.
how much does it cost them? Let's round up and say $70 billion to get the rest of their characters back. How much does it cost to buy the rest of the big characters? DC ain't doing that great. Disney has money.
I mean, yeah, but I don't think Disney really wants any of those characters, anyways. They're
Really?
fully invested in
Disney
Marvel.
would not. Disney would take cash right now. They would take cash and be like, here is $40 billion for Batman, Superman.
They can do that, and I'll read an article that explains why. But Disney ain't doing that well. And I got an actual article, actually from their fucking website, which I'll get to. But yeah, Disney ain't gonna be throwing around money like that for a little bit. Their whole Mulan experiment blew up in their face, but a couple of other things that I'm gonna bring up in a little bit. And I'm actually happy because they need to be brought down a couple pegs because Bob and Bob are dickheads. Anyways,
what's up, Wookiee supremacy?
What's up,
Speaking
Wookiee?
of Bob,
that would have been a great segue into my next article, which is Disney Plus has changed the official MCU timeline from Marvel's order. Dun, dun, dun. Disney seems to have altered its official Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline. So if you're already confused, prepare to scratch your head even more. While we have established just what order the MCU movies should be in based on the events that occur, it looks like we may have two movies out of order. Marvel originally noted that the events of Iron Man. Yep. The events of Iron Man 3 took place in 2012, followed by Thor: The Dark World, or Thor, the most horrible movie made in DCU. MCU universe. No, you can't defend Dark World. That was terrible movie. The only good thing
it is not. You just said that Thor: The Dark World is a worse movie than Captain Marvel.
Oh God. Yeah.
Continue on with the other point that you're trying to make here.
Well, now you're just making my head explode because I'm trying to compare two horrible movies in my head right now. You know what? That's an argument. We'll do a versus on that.
Okay.
I don't know who's gonna represent what. We both lose in that one. Anyways, however, according to Disney Plus Marvel section, the timeline actually occurs as Thor: The Dark World before Iron Man 3. So everything we knew was a lie. In other words, Marvel News Sony, the studio behind the upcoming Spider-Man 3, has responded to rumors that former Spidey's Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield could join Tom Holland in the MCU
Excellent.
in an adventure that spans a multiverse. These rumored castings are not confirmed. They stated, and while
Wait,
that
hold on a
isn't-
second. Hold on a second before you continue. I gotta make sure I heard this right. So, because originally 2 movies are allegedly out of order now in the timeline, that means we can get other Spider-Mans from previous Sony movies in the next Spider-Man movie?
I guess they'll elaborate as I continue. These rumored castings are not confirmed, they stated, and while it isn't a confirmation, it isn't a flat out denial either. So fingers crossed. After all, Jamie Foxx has already been confirmed to be reprising his role as Electro, the villain no one wanted from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, while Benedict Cumberbatch is also on board for the next Spider-Man movie as Doctor Strange. Holland also teased that the concept of Spider-Man 3 will be mind-blowing for the fans. So, you
We're
know,
going to Doc Ock, like, oh no, he's dead. Not the
okay,
actor,
so,
the character.
Which
I know-
character?
Doc Ock.
um,
I was like, oh no, wait, Doc Ock's dead.
Yeah.
Green Goblin's dead.
yeah,
Venom's
Simone,
dead. Harry's
people are
dead.
people are making the connection, not to the Spider-Man rumors, but more to it is confirmed that Jamie Foxx is coming back. According to the interviews and Sony's press release, he is actually coming back as Shocker. But here's the thing. They've set up a new Sinister Six, okay? We got the amazing Michael Keaton as
Doc
Vulture.
Ock has to
Vulture.
be a part of the Sinister Six. He is the leader and the founder of the Sinister Six.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they're going to do some kind of storyline.
Dude,
they
the
will-
Kaiser has taken a stand.
I'm sure they will introduce him. We've gotten Scorpion, we've gotten Shocker, and now we got Vulture. We just need to
Right.
know who's going to be
Fuck,
Doc Ock.
Shocker's dead.
Yeah.
He ain't dead?
No, that was just a fake. If you watch the movie, that wasn't the actual Shocker. That was just someone testing the prototype for the gauntlets that he will use.
What is the
What?
second guy the Shocker?
The
or is
black
he
guy
just
ain't
another
the
guy?
Shocker?
No.
No, okay, so
What?
the 2 guys that were the Shocker are not the Shocker.
Neither of them are the Shocker.
All right.
Yep.
Even though they both
And
had
that
the
was
jacket
confirmed
that looks
by
like the Shocker,
Right.
they're not the Shocker.
no. That was confirmed by
A DC villain.
made. No, that was
I see
confirmed
where
by
you're
whoever
coming
made
from.
the movie. But yeah, he came out and said it's even on the DVD. He said, because I have the DVD, he says that they're not actually the Shocker. They're just people who have his gear.
But Timon flip saying it's Electro, not Shocker, in the Sinister Six, the original Sinister Six, because Mysterio is in the original Sinister Six.
Yeah, he's
believe.
also saying
Yeah.
that Sony denied the other Spideys.
Yeah, they did. They did. Very vaguely though, because I read the statement by Sony. It's kind of they're half-assed. Oh no, we're not doing the other Spider-Man.
If we're getting
as clever as
Electro,
Kevin.
I don't want no modernized look. I want the comic look because yes,
No, we're gonna get that shitty blue look he had in Amazing Spider-Man 2. You guys all remember that? No, it's because that movie was fucking terrible. That's why you don't remember it.
everyone remembers the Spectacular Spider-Man series they canceled, right? That Electro looked all right.
Yeah.
But no, we got to get
Timon
the
Flip
classic
says,
green
no,
suit
the
Electro.
actual shocker, Herman Schultz, died in the movie.
I don't think you watched that movie, Zod.
I did a while ago. I like the second one better. My boy Gyllenhaal's in there.
Nah, the next shocker will be Herman Schultz the second, and they'll just play it off maybe. I don't know.
Because the second
It's
movie is
fine.
better, but the first one ain't bad.
No, but here's the thing. That Amazing Spider-Man was terrible. I don't know why they're getting Jamie Foxx to play him because he did a terrible job.
It was The Amazing
So-
Spider-Man 2,
Yeah.
which I still have never seen.
Don't waste your
Oh,
time.
it's gonna happen one day. One day.
Don't
It's
do
going to
that
just be
yourself.
on TV randomly, and you're just going to watch it. There'll be
I'm
nothing
pretty
else.
sure it's on my DVR somewhere. I got a bunch of terrible movies on my DVR. I got Justice League on my DVR. I got BVS on my DVR, man. That movie's trash.
But are you gonna have the Snyder cut on your DVR?
Well, it's going to be on HBO Max.
Whenever they put it on regular HBO and I have a free weekend of HBO and I hit the record button,
Oh, that'll never happen because HBO Max is.
it's nice to
Remember-
have on the DVR for when you get into an argument with some moron on a live stream and they're saying something and I was like, hold on, let me check real quick because it takes me, 10, 20 seconds to just pull it up. Fast forward to what I'm looking at and I was like, nope, he definitely murdered those people. He drug them for several 100 yards.
And he used a
He
fucking
ran over
Gatling
people.
gun. he,
Like,
he
That's
used a
the
Gatling
first thing
my
gun.
I saw.
Batman.
He ran over people. And it's not like, in the Arkham games where it zaps them the fuck away and they fly 10 feet that way into a brick wall where they could probably die, but I don't think so.
What
They
the
go
hell?
to a
And you're
vegetative
gonna
state.
tell? Sorry.
They go into a vegetative state in the game. Wink, wink. Well, they do. Everyone goes into a vegetative state with Batman.
But they're not
But no,
technically
they're supposed
dead.
to
They're
have
not
rubber
technically
wheel.
dead.
He ran
They're
over
fucked
someone
up.
in that movie. And also in the game, his cannon shot fucking beanbags at them, which knocked them the fuck out.
And probably, broke
But that-
stuff. Let's
But
be
that
real.
looked like
That's
that
high
looked like
velocity.
bullets in
No.
the movie.
No, the worst argument that I hear for people saying that it's okay for Batman to do that. Even Michael Keaton kills in his movie, and I said just because it was wrong in one movie doesn't mean that it's not wrong in your movie. What the hell?
They claim that this is the original way Batman was supposed to be. No, the way they've had Batman and want Batman is the way they kind of started it up in the Silver Age. That's why Crisis on Infinite Earths, they killed pretty much every character in the Golden Age because they rewrote them the way they wanted them in the Silver Age, and those characters are the way we have them now.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but now
you could
people want Batman to just, kill whoever he wants whenever he wants. It doesn't
ruins-
matter the situation.
That
And
ruins
here-
his
here's
That was
character,
just
another
though.
showing
argument.
how wrong Batman was. Okay, well, what the fuck was Batman doing when he's sitting there holding some fucking kid when you see some gods falling from the sky? He's just sitting on his fucking ass, not doing a goddamn thing, waiting to find a rock in the ocean. Way to go, Batman. Like,
Not to
way
mention
to
too.
destroy his credit even more.
Not to mention too, they kind of fucked up Superman because I was watching some other reviews and analyzing, what they did, and you had a big problem, okay? Because Batman and Superman are supposed to be a contrast, right? You could always do Batman dark because that's how he's, kind of portrayed. But Superman's kind of supposed to be the hot, hopeful, optimistic Boy Scout kind of character. And they made two dark characters. So you had no contrast because Superman, when you really think about Man of Steel, which I like, but there's a clear deviation from the character. Superman didn't give a fuck about people. I mean, okay, I
Nope.
was watching that fight at the end,
He
right?
cared
He's
about
fighting
a person.
yeah, Lois. But you watch that fight with General Zod, right? Which love that. But anyways, there are some things that
It's a
don't
good
make
fight
sense.
scene.
Like he's fighting him in a field, right? Away from people, and then he fucking Superman tackles him to the city. And his whole reason for
Like,
killing
he couldn't
Zod
have aimed 5 degrees to the right.
exactly. And his whole reasons for killing Zod was he was going to kill 3 people, right? The little people huddled in the subway. But he just fucking destroyed a bunch of buildings and shit. How many people already died while they were fighting and literally going through office buildings and shit was being blown up?
That's the one.
Use.
That's the one thing I'll give credit to. Like the BVS, they do mention
Yeah,
those people
exactly. They
dying.
use that in BVS, but it still doesn't make sense.
But it sounds
because
but that whole thing just sounded like after because we all said Captain America Civil War came out first. It sounded exactly like Civil War in the Scovia Accords. That movie.
Well,
Yeah, but that's only because Marvel rushed their productions because they seen that DC was doing Batman vs Superman.
But I believe that's the original story too, something with the Scovia Accords.
no, the
No?
original story was the mutant registration or
And
the hero registration because they kind of tweaked it because they didn't want it to be exactly like X-Men, but same difference. They wanted superpowered people to register themselves. And actually, the Civil War events are completely different in the comics, but I don't mind because there's better context for the real world. But that's another story. Yeah, I'll get into a whole big thing if I go into that.
no,
But
that's what
basically,
people love about Batman vs Superman. They're like, well, you don't need the light versus dark contrast. We can see the contrast. One of them can fly.
And the thing is with the old Dark Knight one, where they originally fought each other, is that the United States government saw Batman as a threat.
well,
And
yeah, that's
basically
why
hired Superman to
that
go
made
after him.
sense. That made sense because it was more in line with real world, which is why everyone loves that. Was because the heroes were forced to retire. Batman was the fucking ringleader for that because they're like, there's this fucking guy who's just he's not killing people. He's not killing people, but he's sending people to the hospital and shit. And they're like, whoa, these guys got to be reined in. And Batman was all like, fuck you guys. And so they were like, well, you could either like join the government or, hang up the cape. So he was like, fuck this. And then, shit started going down and he put on the cape. So they sent Superman in because he was working for the government.
Which
But,
that one's better because Superman's supposed to be the righteous hero and Batman's supposed to be the dark vigilante.
and even in that, Superman doesn't lose his character. He gets duped because of his naive nature and actually sets off a fucking EMP. And Batman has to start like a militia to keep Gotham in line because the fucking lights and shit go out and people lose their mind, like what would really happen. But anyways, I want to read Geekocidal Tendencies thing real quick because I love it. He says, sorry, Superman doesn't care about you, Zod. He tells me all the time he cares about me. Cards, letters, flowers even. Thank you. I'm glad he cares about someone. Fucking douchebag. Anyways, yeah, here's the thing. They deviated so much and I hate the justification. And they also bring okay, here's another thing that pisses me off. And I know, we got one more topic, so we could talk about this a little bit. But here's the thing that also pisses me off, too. Zack Snyder has this thing, and like, I gotta preference this again because then people attack you. I like Zack Snyder movies, okay? Other than what he
Yeah,
did
the
with
good
the
ones.
DC. Okay, so here's the thing that he does that people always reference and it pisses me off. But what about the deep meaning that he says when he references Superman as a god? No shit. Really? That's not brilliant. Okay? Like he makes him in Man of Steel. He falls back from space, and when he's falling back, it looks like Jesus on the cross. And it's like, one, that's a pretty obvious fucking thing that he's beaten over the head. And two, that premise doesn't lead to anything. It's just there to go for people to go, oh, there's a deeper meaning. No, there's not. There's not a deeper meaning. Zach isn't being some brilliant fucking modern Renaissance man. He's putting in an obvious thing to trick the audience into thinking there's a deeper meaning than what there is. Okay? You want deeper meanings? Watch Joker. Todd Phillips puts in deeper meanings in that movie.
Oh yeah, and it's such a good movie that Joaquin Phoenix wants to make another one with him.
Yeah, I mean, Joker has symbolisms and things to make you think and about society and mental illness and things like that. And shout out to Stevie J Reviews or Stevie J Raw because we both shilled the shit out of this movie. So Stevie, if you're there, this is my I haven't done it in a while, but this is my shout out to Joker. Brilliant movie. Anyways, that is a movie that has deeper meanings. Batman versus Superman and Man of Steel do not have anything deep. There's nothing insightful. You know, if you want to argue, you get to see Batman and Superman fight on the big screen, then you can. And it has one of the most cringiest moments in cinema. Martha, why'd you say that name? I mean, that's so fucking.
That's his mother.
And during that, when you
And
see
you never
the
thought
interview,
anything would top the Rachel. Where are they?
oh yeah, I mean, but at least,
Where's the trigger?
but here's the thing. At least in that movie, it was kind of funny and we memed it, but at least it had relevance to what was going on. Like,
Yeah, he needed to know where the trigger was.
He was interrogating the shit out of the Joker. And Joker was just laughing at him the whole time because it's Joker. He beat the shit out of Joker, and Joker was just laughing while he was beating the shit out of him because it's Joker.
I like to what Timon Flip says. He put it best. Joker's message is direct. There is no symbolism, no deeper meaning.
And Joker tells you Joker tells you the message, and it's very obvious what the message is. And if you don't see it, you're blind.
Yeah, and that's why the media.
The message is where he got those scars.
But I mean, you know, and the thing that I always hate is the argument like, look, you know, Zack Snyder is good at what he does, but I would argue he can't write a fucking story to save his life. The stuff that's good is stuff that he adapted. He's like who else is good at adapting things and then goes off the rails when they have to actually make their own original story? Where have I heard this before? Another thing, a product. It was a show. It's escaping my mind right now. But you know where I'm going with this, okay? He's one of those directors that can adapt the shit out of something, but if he has to put his own original spin on it, he goes off the fucking rails. Like he wanted to. This is okay. Everyone who makes this argument, just think about this. He wanted to have a scene where Batman goes to jail and gets raped in prison. Okay? This is your great creator.
Who wanted to do that?
Zack fucking Snyder.
What is this,
about
Dude,
it.
do you know how long the Snyder cut is going to be?
I mean, God, I hope we never see that. Who the fuck knows what he's putting in the Snyder cut? But, I mean, he literally wanted to have a scene where Batman goes to prison. Okay, that's interesting. He gets caught for being a vigilante. I can get behind that. And I'm reading further, and then I'm like, what the fuck? What? Like, he talks about some dark shit he wanted in the DC, and it's like DC is dark, but what? That's like,
Porno.
you know,
God damn it.
I like what Timon Flip put, where he put Snyder's strong point is visual, not creating. Exactly, Timon.
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
I never said that the movies aren't shiny.
They're very. I'm sorry.
They're good looking.
It's very CGI heavy.
Yeah, but there's a difference between like Avatar CGI and Snyder. Snyder's CGI is clean. It's good. It's a visually appealing experience.
Okay, I would say 90% of the CGI in the movie, and I don't like, what do I want to say? I don't like, what's his face?
Doomsday?
Cyborg.
Or Doomsday? Fucking Doomsday?
No, I think
was
that Doomsday. Well, I think it still looks realistic.
Nah, okay.
For what it is, it doesn't
like
look like the Doomsday I was expecting. But for what it is, it looked real. It didn't look like a sci-fi monster running around on the screen.
Okay, riddle me this. How did a show like Smallville on a CW budget get Doomsday closer?
Because they had a good costume design.
$2 million budget.
Because it was a good costume design. And it actually looked like him. And not like, oh, no spikes, but now we beat the shit out of him. He gets spikes. And then his face looks
I
kind
was
of funny.
expecting the Doomsday similar to Smallville and just maybe beef him up a bit because, it's a big budget movie. You want him to look physically menacing compared to everyone else on screen. And you got some relatively big guys there with Henry Cavill and Jason Momoa.
Okay,
so I guess he wasn't
really
in
quick,
that movie.
Really quick, I just want to read
spiky beard.
Really quick, I want to read some comments here because we got some good stuff. Geekocidal Tendency says Zack Snyder movies are long verse music videos. That is the most. Yeah, that is a pretty accurate description. Timon Flip says at General Zod's Fandom Zone, Snyder is not alone in the WTF section. Patty Jenkins wanted Wonder Woman to have a talking pet tiger. That makes sense though, because it's in the comics and it's actually in some of the shows.
A talking pet tiger. What's wrong with a talking pet tiger?
I mean, Walking Dead, a lot of people dropped out till they found out Ezekiel had a fucking tiger. And then they were like, wait, a black dude has a tiger and he rules this place called the Kingdom where they cosplay all day?
Yeah, it's exotic.
I don't know what they would have to do, but they could get a real tiger from that guy in South Carolina with all the tigers. And Gal Gadot is definitely crazy enough, being that she is former Israeli military. She'll work with a real tiger.
Oh, yeah. And how hot would that be? I'm just saying. But anyways, yeah.
Jesus Christ. I don't need a tiger there for Wonder Woman to be hot. Are you kidding me?
You know what I always find funny though?
She's gonna fight a cheetah.
Here's the thing I find funny. They always call us big Marvel fanboys, but then we always loop around to DC like we did just now. Let's talk about DC.
Yeah, the irony. We've been called Marvel fanboys, and yet here I'm named General Zod, and we always wind up coming back to DC. We're such Marvel shills on this channel. Oh my god, just the way we shill Marvel is so ridiculous. We just need to stop. The mouse is definitely paying us.
And I feel like we weren't necessarily shitting on DC. We were just shitting on the way that Zack Snyder wants to see our favorite characters in DC.
GP says, at General Zod's Phantom Zone, you remind me of Joaquin Phoenix Joker. Thank you. I love it. Timon Flip has a question for you, Mr. PB.
When I said visual, I mean visual direction, not just CGI and pretty colors. Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah. So I mean, here's the thing.
Like
To just
visual direction, like real fast because he's got the flash.
here's the thing. Yeah, Zack Snyder fans are crazy. Okay. Anyways, I want to get to the last article of the night because it really pulls together Disney, and we talk about Husky's favorite subject, politics. I know Husky's been waiting for that all night.
Yep.
Or the Kaiser. So let's get to both an entertainment and political article. I don't know how you combined it. And this is from Disney's own website, their own news site, because they have to have their own news site because they're fucking Disney. They have to own the world. Anyways, Senator Elizabeth Warren sends a letter to Bob and Bob.
Whoa. You mean Senator Pocahontas?
Yes. Questioning mass layoffs following the reinstatement of executive salaries. Senator Elizabeth Warren has penned a poignant, scathing letter to senior executives of Walt Disney Company, demanding answers in the wake of mass layoffs impacting up to 28,000 cast members across Walt Disney World and Disneyland resorts. In it, she reiterates many valid points from the blatant reinstatement of the salaries of Bob Chapek and other executives just months before mass layoffs, to other questionable company priorities, such as the payment of generous dividends to shareholders and stock buybacks. Dear the letter reads, "Dear Mr. Iger and Mr. Chapek."
I think it's Chapek.
Chapek. Have we decoded what his name? Anyways, the other Bob.
It's six fucking letters, man.
I'm a villain. I write to express concern about the Walt Disney Company's recent decision to lay off 28,000 workers during an economic recession, which, lady, that makes sense. Okay. While reinstating pay rates for highly compensated senior executives who run the company. In the years leading up to this crisis, your company prioritized the enrichment of executives and stockholders through hefty compensation packages and billions of dollars worth of dividend payments and stock buybacks, all of which weakened Disney financial cushion and ability to retain and pay its frontline workers amid the pandemic. While I appreciate that your company has continued to provide healthcare benefits to furloughed workers for the past 6 months, thousands of laid off employees will now have to worry about how to keep food on the table as executives begin receiving hefty paychecks. Do we even want to go over how many fucking things are false and wrong in this letter? I mean, what the fuck is this wacky bitch talking about? Okay. The key word here is they're laid off. You can still collect unemployment. They are still getting paid by Disney according to the pandemic. There's a special payment. I know because my company was doing it. They are compensating people who are laid off and in the position they're in due to this pandemic. So I feel like she's really understating what's going on here. But anyways, the letter starts out acknowledging the company's efforts in providing health care and its furloughed workers throughout the pandemic.
Furloughed.
But ultimately, bringing to light the fact thousands of cast members will now have to worry about their livelihoods. No, because they're laid off.
Did you
They're
say
not
cast
fired.
members?
Yeah, like the cast members who do the fucking Mickey Mouse and everything.
Oh my God. Yeah, well, as soon as the country is open to 100%, they can go back to being fucking Mickey Mouse. They only need
Like,
one. They don't need a dozen right now. They need a
I mean,
quarter of capacity of the Mickeys.
and look, I don't agree with a lot of stuff they do as far as buying up shit and entertainment wise, but it does make sense to pay the people who are there on the front lines running the fucking company as opposed to someone being Mickey. I don't
I
see
don't think
how
that she
Elizabeth.
understands the
People who have
people.
seniority in a company do
Yeah.
get priority over someone who's not.
Not to
But what were
mention
you
the
saying?
fact that I will
Seniority
guarantee
usually gets
every
priority
single
in a
one of
company.
these executives has a contract that if you don't pay them, they will sue Disney and they'll have to pay them even more, which will cost Disney even more jobs. So why does she want Disney to get sued by these executives that have ironclad contracts instead of just trying to help the people who got laid off find a new temporary job until we can get back to normal?
Yeah, this bitch is fucking out of her mind. Anyways, since the start of the pandemic, California has had over 830,000 COVID-19 cases and over 16,000 individuals in the state that have died, while your company has blamed your decision to lay off thousands of workers on California public health measures, which were implemented to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and save lives. Nearly 6,400 of the employees you laid off are actually in Florida, and just last week, another 8,857 part-time employees were laid off, also in Florida. And this bitch, statistics on the COVID is way off. Plus, there were cases in Florida too. So what? Okay. She goes on to say the September 29th announcement describes reducing staff as a very difficult decision resulting from the prolonged impact of COVID-19 on our business. However, this explanation fails to acknowledge Disney's short-sighted business decision to reduce its capital, including spending billions of dollars to repurchase its own shares over the last decade, rewarding its shareholders through billions of dollars in divided payments, and showering its top company execs with over-the-top compensation packages. Senator Warren's thoughts has been mirror many the opinions we've reflected across our posts here at WDWNT, and cast members across both coasts. You can read here in a full letter embodied below, including a series of 7 follow-up questions to which she requests a response by October 27th, 2020.
Okay, let's hear these phenomenal questions.
All right, so this is a very small print. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go to number 1. Here we go. Number 1. Which types of employees were laid off per Mr. D. Amero's September 29th, 2020 memo? What was the anticipated monthly total cost of wages for these employees? Do any of these employees have recall rights? If so, will the individuals retain seniority if rehired at Disney? Number 2, how were the
Hold on.
decisions?
Wait. You said that was question 1 and it had what, 4 or 5 questions in it?
7.
So Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, number 8.
Number 2, how were the decisions made with regards to which employees would be laid off? Number 3, will Disney provide healthcare coverage for laid off employees? Will Disney cover any premium care packages? If so, which laid off employees? Number 3A, will Disney provide any additional support for these employees? Number 4, how much in total compensation has Disney awarded each of the top execs and its board members in FY 2019 and FY 2020? Please describe the components of compensation. Number 5, what specific cuts in executive salaries and compensation were made in the beginning of the pandemic? Our reports, these cuts have been reversed in whole, in whole or in part accurate. Number 6, what is the total value of stock buybacks made by Disney in each quarter, starting in first year, I'm gathering that is 2016. To what extent did the increase of stock value, and to what extent did it benefit top execs and members of the board? Number 7, how much has Disney paid its shareholders in dividends in each year since 2017? To what extent did the benefits of top executives and members of the boards receive? Thank you for your prompt attention at this in this matter.
Dude, half of those things she can probably just look up. Sincerely, Pocahontas.
Yeah, this is so fucking ridiculous.
Who's fucking wasting their time on this? Like, she wasted a whole bunch of time. She had her staff waste a whole bunch of time. And now somebody at fucking Disney has got to waste a whole bunch of time looking through what is essentially either junk mail, if she actually mailed it there, or spam.
And really quick, do you want to read this?
Yeah. I'm going to scroll up so I can read it better here. Generation Production says, how can you tell Disney is broken? I think it's supposed to be just broke, maybe? Because all of the casts. But
So, I mean, here's the thing. This is so fucking ridiculous because I don't think Senator Elizabeth Warren, aka Pocahontas, understands exactly how business works at all. Like, she's part of that big business bad. They're destroying the little people, yada yada yada. But I mean, yeah.
Yeah, business at least have
From what I know, Disney employs a lot of midgets.
What were you saying, Cyber?
People who understand business at least have never worked in a management profession or actually worked in a business.
Yeah, because I totally agree, because the way she states this, it's like, I understand the argument of laying off people, but then when you look at the positions to which they are laying off all of these people, you see it's positions that aren't fucking needed right now. I mean, if you just take into account the theme park attendance and how much money they're bringing in, then wouldn't it make sense that they would lay off these people? No, Elizabeth Warren is not a Republican. I don't believe PB. Yeah. PB, you're the senior analyst here.
No.
What am I analyzing?
No, she's not.
Elizabeth Warren is one of those wacky left-leaning liberals, isn't she?
Yes, she was on the Democratic thing earlier this year with all the other people before they decided their candidate.
Yeah, she's
Well, it was kind of decided for them, but yeah, I get what you mean.
read what Lemon Pie wrote. This is fucking hilarious.
Lemon Pie says Pocahontas doesn't actually think big businesses are bad as long as they donate to her campaigns. Bingo.
That is very accurate. That's how they work. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. This is a totally stupid fucking asinine argument because when you look at the people actually laid off, and I'm sure there's some other people in there, but for the most part, it's people whose functions are not being used in the park. So why the fuck are they going to keep these people employed, giving out more money that is causing them
So
to
that
hurt
they don't
financially?
get a spam email from a native?
Like this is so fucking ridiculous. Of all the things to call out Disney on, this is what Senator Pocahontas picks as her rallying point. Like, holy fuck. I don't even know what to say. Uh, her and fucking Pelosi. Jesus Christ, these are women you could fucking talk about all night with how
They
fucking
just have
wacky
to
and
make
crazy they
it
are.
appear like they're fighting for the working man when they're not doing a fucking thing. Because this sure as hell makes it seem like she's fighting for the working man, doesn't it? Like, hey, I'm gonna ask this big business why they're laying people off but paying executives instead of just me doing my own research and understanding that the contract that the guy signed to play Mickey Mouse, you could probably lay him off with very, very minimal consequences. Whereas if you don't pay this CFO or CEO, he's going to turn around and sue you because you didn't fulfill your end of the contract. That's how the law works. And you would think a senator would know that, but she's probably spending too much time in her wigwam.
Oh shit. Yeah, that was a beautiful cap off to that rap. But yeah, I mean, this is really fucking astonishing how uh these people seem to live in this fantasy world where like they they think that all businessmen are evil and that these guys are sitting there twirling their mustache talking about how they're going to fuck over the little man, and don't get me wrong, Disney does fuck people over. They
Bob
fuck
Iger
fans over
doesn't even
constantly.
have any facial hair.
I mean, you know, they do fucked up shit, but this is not what I can't believe I'm saying this. This is not an instance where Disney is wrong here. They're actually doing the smart business move that is smart for the companies and the other essential employees in their fucking company. I mean, what about the poor receptionist whose job got saved because, instead of getting rid of Brenda, who will bring the coffee and type the memos and read this spam email, they got rid of fucking Goofy. Um, yeah, I mean, what about they act like these people higher up, or even these people that aren't in the theme park themselves, don't have families or people that they have to worry about. They're just these evil, faceless white males who are part of the patriarchy and part of the big business model, and they're going
Yep,
to
they're
bring
just
down
keeping
the
us
walls.
down.
I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. And you know what? There's no mention through this COVID bullshit and these attacks on these companies. which some are warranted, some aren't, but that's not the fucking point. No one has talked about the little fucking businesses that we all see. I'm sure, PB, you can see some businesses too. These little businesses that have been self-employed, self-made people who made their own business and have lost their business or had to close their doors down because of bullshit. Where's the help for them? Where's the help for the small business owner? I've yet to see one person fucking address that. Like, what about the small businesses? You guys see this as an opportunity to attack the business? I don't see any big business really taking a hit. Walmart, Target, all of them, they've thrived. What about the little stores? What about the mom and pop shops? What about the places that have to close because they don't have enough money while this bullshit is going on and they have these regulations? Why aren't we talking about them? Who's fucking helping them? Those are just middle class, normal American people who had a dream and opened up a shop and they thrived while there were fucking people around going in businesses. And now half of them had to shut down and make way for the evil corporations that they're so concerned with. I mean, essentially, you have helped the bigger businesses get a foothold and destroyed the littler businesses. I mean, this whole shit is ass backwards.
Yeah, which is exactly why she had to write this letter, to make it look like she's still fighting for all of us little people, every single midget.
I mean, so, it's ridiculous. And, God, she needs to go back to doing her fucking ceremonies or whatever the fuck it is that
Well,
she
she's
does.
obviously not up for re-election this year, I'm thinking. Even though in her state she'd be a shoo-in.
Well, God, that's a whole nother fucking can of worms that we'll probably talk about one day, because tomorrow we have a show addressing politics. So, who the fuck knows? But anyways, we've laughed, we've cried, we've had a bunch of good
I cried
topics.
from laughter.
Or cried from laughter, yeah. And we had a Kaiser on here, so I think we've capped off this night quite well. Let's start to wind things down and say our adieus and farewells. Mr. Pop Culture PD, what Snyder fans will you be pissing off in some upcoming video you'll make?
Oh my god, now that you told me it's going to be an extra 50 million, although the articles that I looked at are from a couple months ago, so I don't know how the hell I missed it. But even so, it's new information to me. So there will definitely be a video made sometime in the near future. It's a little more difficult because I got a crazy little puppy running around at home right now who seems to need to go outside to go to the bathroom every hour, hour and a half.
Oh yeah, puppies are a lot of work. I remember when Lola was a little pup. Oh my god, that was a fucking.
So yeah, if you want to find me, you can see on the screen where to find me. If I'm not on that social media, go to a different one.
Brilliant. And the Kaiser, what videos can we expect from you and your German brethren?
Schnell.
Well, I was falling behind on a lot of views, but that Husky guy, he's got a little meme he's working on from a radio show in his local area, and he's going to be memeing that. PB's already seen it, and then he had one project he was working on the Four Impressions, which is supposed to be a parody of the Avatar: The Last Airbender, but he's stuck because he got the first half of the intro, but he doesn't know what to do with the second half. And then there was then he had an idea for a video of Where's Paul from T-Mobile. So he's going to try to work on those and get them in by the end of October. but the radio show thing, he hopes to be a meme, and he, depending on how his day goes, he might have it come out tomorrow or Sunday. Well,
Ooh.
today or Sunday, because today is Saturday.
All right.
For sure.
So
But be sure when that one comes out, share it around with all your friends, because it'll be very, very funny.
oh yeah, the
They will
Kaiser is
enjoy it.
telling you. Share the puppy's love. Um so yeah, he's got some good stuff. Go and check out Cybernetic Husky on YouTube. And don't you have a thing you do with games on another platform that you'd like to promote? Maybe?
Yes. He also has his gaming platform, Twitch, which he's been very busy, so he hasn't been able to stream since he started the Super Mario 3D All Stars almost a month ago now. But he's trying to get back. Hopefully, he'll be back next week. But
Awesome.
he
He must
doesn't
be
know how his
preparing for
schedule is
winter.
going. Yes, it
And-
did snow in the area for him today.
And before I go into my promo, do you want to read this, Mr. Pop Culture PB?
Let's scroll up because it's tiny on my screen. Generation Productions says, gross joke. Pocahontas paints with the colors of the wind every time she farts.
Oh, all right. So, have a good night, GP.
See you,
And-
Timon.
And we'll see you later, Timon. Anyways, you can find all sorts of great stuff tomorrow. We will have our news segment, a little bit more of a serious segment on a topic I haven't really come up with yet. But, you know, me and Elder Zod will be on here along with Pop Culture PB. It will probably be politically motivated because that's what we talk about on the show. And
No,
it's
you're
going to
gonna
have
be on
something
here
to
with
do
political PB.
Pop Culture PB's cousin. So, anyways, thank you, Nico. A little bit early, but definitely agree. We'll just keep that up there. Anyways, so
God
I got
damn
some
it.
awesome stuff coming up. We're going to do that. I'm going to have my Halloween stuff. I was gonna do Halloween movies, but then I got caught up in work, and I just finally
Shocker.
got off. Yeah, I got caught up in 10-hour shifts. So you know, there's that. But yeah, I'm going to actually go into doing reviews, but they're going to be based on different genres, and then I might end it with a top 10 of my personal favorite Halloween type movies. You know, I might pick one from my top one, like I'll do like my favorite slasher and review it, my favorite supernatural, ghost, found footage, that kind of thing, and just go through each category and kind of go from there. And then I will do a top 10 of my personal favorite horror movies. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. And then also I will be doing a review on a show that came out that made me get Hulu again. I didn't realize that it was out, but Hellstrom. I just started the first episode tonight, but I didn't really get into it because, you know, kids. I'll probably watch it on Sunday and do a review of the series and let you know what I think about it. But so far, it's dark as fuck, and I love it. So, yeah, I'll review that and tell you what I think about it. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All the doors broke a long time ago, and you can see
Someone's dressing up as me.
the doors and everything.
But anyways, thank you everybody for the love. Thank you for getting me to 402. I appreciate it. And yeah, let's go for 500. Anyways, you guys already know
Bless
what I'm gonna
you.
say. Yes. Bless me. Anyways, if you're new to the channel, you guys know the tagline or the outro. Remember the one and only rule here in the fandom zone. Kneel before your general's eye.